Okay, so welcome to video number 6. We're going to talk about list to flow. Once you've created your step-by-step, sequential, and logical to-do list, you're going to need to turn it into a visual flow chart that makes sense, because this is what's going to help you and the programmer understand how all the missing pieces or pieces of the puzzle flow together. So let's hop on over to Lucidchart and build out your visual map, which is crucial to understanding how it all works. All right, so let me go ahead and show you how. Okay, so we're going to take the list that we created earlier, which was the if then else type statement. As you can see, this one's actually fairly easy because it's pretty self-explanatory. It's very straightforward. Depending on how complex your software is going to be, it's going to vary. So I'm not going to be able to say if it's super complex or whatever, it's going to take you time. I'm not going to be able to tell you how long it's going to take, but ultimately, if you want to sell software, this is all part of the process. Now, we're using Lucidchart, as I told you earlier, and very, very easy to use. What we're trying to do is we're trying to turn what we see here into a visual flow chart. It's going to be able to make more sense when you actually see it visually. All right. So let's just enter this. So WordPress plugin, let's kind of name it first. It's going to be WordPress plugin : hot content finder. And of course, I probably could create a better name for that, but we're just going to go with it. So I'm going to type that in here. And I pulled in a text icon. What's nice about Lucidchart is you can pull these items over and you can create basically a flowchart. So I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it, not too big like that. And we're gonna put that here. And the next thing we wanna do is the user goes to the WordPress plugin. All right, so let's just copy a box over here and type that in. So user goes to WordPress plugin. Or what we could do is we could make a user. We could, let's see, I don't know if there's any icons for people in here, but let's see. I'll just make this user, all caps, like that. So what's nice about this is everything is organized. Everything looks nice, and that's what you're trying to do. So WordPress plugin. So user comes here, and what do they see next? They see maybe the settings or something, like some sort of settings or search form. All right, so user goes to plugin, they enter a keyword. Okay, so the next thing is on the search form, they can enter keyword. Now, before we do this, what does the person see? All right, so do they see maybe a list of their campaigns first? So you want to take a look at other plugins and get an idea. So we could have plugins and we can have campaigns. So maybe they see a list of campaigns first. So we'll type in list of campaigns. And I'm going to try to make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it like that. There we go. So user, we'll make the user kind of a pink. So that's nice. You can also change the box colors. You can also change the colors of the text as well and the font as well. You can also drag and drop images into this as well. So there's a lot of things you can do, but just keep it simple. All right, so they see a list of campaigns, and then maybe they have the ability to create new campaigns. So create new campaigns. So what you're doing, as you can see here, it's not exact with this. It's sort of even more. So they have the ability to see a list of campaigns that they can go and edit the campaign, or they can create a brand new campaign. If they create a brand new campaign, then what next? Well, next, maybe they create or find hot content. So within that one campaign, they can find hot content. Now, what else do they see within the campaign? Well, maybe besides that, they can create the name of the campaign. So they name the campaign. All right, so maybe that's what they see first, and then they find hot content. But what do they need to do to find hot content? Well, if you refer back to here, it says if user enters a keyword. So name the campaign, find the hot content, which consists of enter a keyword. All right, so move it here. And then what's next here is then the plugin goes to Google, enters a keyword. So this is all the user needs to do. So maybe what I need to do is I need to color code it. So since the user is kind of a pinkish, maybe I'll make it a green, light green. What I'm going to do is anytime the user does something or sees something, it's going to be green. If the WordPress plugin does something, let's say we're going to make it like a light blue. All right. So the user sees a list of campaigns. That's part of the plugin itself. So I'm going to make this blue, create new campaigns, find hot content. All right. So all of this is blue because this is part of the plugin. So maybe what I'll do is I'm going to color code it. So green means user, blue means WordPress plugin, and we'll call this user interface. And then of course we have the third thing, which is what the user or what the WordPress plugin does. So WordPress plugin action. And we're going to make this maybe a purple, a light purple. All right. So that way, every time we see green, it's something that the user does. Every time we see blue, it's what we see as the user interface in the WordPress plugin. And then if the WordPress plugin has to go to Google or anything like that, it's an action. So we see that as purple. All right. So this is our color coded so that we can read it better. So we'll put this here. All right, so enter keyword, that's definitely a green. So that's the user. And as you're going through the process, this process might be somewhat boring, but hey, you know what? This is going to make your life a lot easier when you actually develop the software. All right, so enter a keyword, then what? All right, so then the plugin goes to Google. So remember, this is the action for the plugin. So I'm going to copy that. So what I'm doing is I'm copying this and then I'm pasting it. But I'm using my shortcut keys. So I'm using Control-C and Control-V like that. So now what I need to do is drag this down here. We don't need this. We're going to put this here. And then next we have the plugin goes to Google and enters a keyword. So goes to Google and enters user keyword. All right, so we're going to link that there. Then what? Well, then Google gives a list of suggested keywords. So obviously that's not the action of anything. So I'm going to, we'll make this white and say Google shows a list of suggested keywords. So that's what happens next. So I'm going to make we're just basically connecting the dots. So I'm connecting it from here to here. That's why you see the arrow going forward. Once it gives a list of the suggested keywords, then the plugin copies the top 10 suggested keywords. So going back here, we're going to copy this, paste that. I'm going to drag it over here and then drag it here like so. And then grabs top 10 hot. Let's see. Okay, so the plugin grabs the top 10 suggested keywords. Okay, that's what we want. Keywords. Okay, so next, we're almost done. So then the plugin goes to the popular blog directory. So we copy that over here, align it so everything's good. Connect this little dot over to here. And then the plugin goes to X blog directory. You could tell the programmer I want a list that I constantly update of the hottest blog directories, or you could have it just go to one. But that can be elaborated further later on. So it goes to X blog directory and enters the top 10, I'll just call it SK, suggested keywords. All right. So from there, what next? So types it in, and then the plugin shows the hot content. So usually at this point, though, of course, in detail, we have blog shows hot content. So at this point, the WordPress plugin is going to grab the hot content and display it to the user. Now, of course, this is where the user comes in, right? So the user sees the list and chooses. So next, I'm going to put it here. User sees lists of hot content and picks. Next, once after they pick, then what? Okay, we go back here. Then the plugin copies a link of the hot content that the user chooses to the WordPress blog. So copies or adds a link to WordPress post or page. Then you could get all elaborate and you could say, hey, after that, you know, the system will allow the user to enter information with their thoughts and all of that on the content so that it is properly content curated. So that's it. That's pretty much all you have to do. And this is what I would do. And at this point, you have this in hand. You have this in hand so the programmer can literally see what's happening all throughout. And then after that, what we need to do is we need to, of course, build out the user interface. So we kind of got a glimpse here. So if we go back here, we can see the user interface right here, right? So we've already done a lot of the legwork. All we have to do is use a graphic program to kind of design what each of these look like. All right. So with that said, I'll see you in the next video.